It's crazy to me that people still don't understand how early we are in this space. The craziest thing to me is also the fact that when we think about how early we are and how much money and how many investors are still yet to enter this market, think about the fact that once we see that flood, the flood of adoption, the flood of investors, and the value that they will bring with them. Think about how much higher the prices of today's cryptocurrency projects will be. When we think about how high some of these projects are, XRP sitting over $2 plus, these projects could easily balloon 5, 10, 20 times larger than what they are today, and that's still being very conservative. I thought about this when I saw this post from Watcher Guru, which was, fun fact, less than 7% of the global population is invested in crypto. Now, I've talked about this many times, okay? There's zero possibility of accurately recording this, okay? There's no way that you could actually track how much of the global population is invested in crypto. Why? Because how many people have double wallets? How many people have just wallets that are sitting there with, some crypto in it, but they lost the keys to it. They don't even care about crypto anymore. How many people have, just a wallet with Dogecoin in it, and they think that's going to be the next Bitcoin? Because again, when we think about a lot of the crypto adoption that we see today, most of it is built on hype, speculation. What percentage of the 7% that we're hearing is actually invested into legitimate utility-based projects that they are going to hold, let alone XRP alone? It's probably not even a percentage point. And why do I say that? Well, because the rich list gives us a number of XRP wallets. 6.6 million. There is 6,629,508 XRP wallets out there. Now, this recently started to spike towards the end of December of 2024, right? Into 2025. By the end of December, we had about 5.8 million wallets. So we have added over 800,000 new wallets to XRP in just the last 7 months alone. But when we think about this, right? How many of these wallets are just belonging to one person? We don't know. I mean, just going off of the amount of wallets I have for XRP or any crypto, I have probably, 3, maybe 4, cold storage devices. Wallets alone, hot wallets, probably about like 10 or so. It's impossible to actually track this, right? And the reason why I say this is because whatever number we're thinking in our mind on how much of the global population actually holds XRP, or what percentage of the global population is actually invested into crypto, it's probably significantly lower. It's crazy to look at the percentage of accounts that actually hold any specific amount of XRP. And we could see that on this chart as well, right? I mean, if we're going off of the 6.6 million, over 5+ million alone only hold about 0 to 500 XRP, which again is crazy to me. If you look at the top 10% that hold just 2,486 XRP or more, that's 600 and almost 63,000 wallets. The top 5% holding 8,757 or more XRP, that's 331,000. I mean, it's crazy to me that, almost 1 million wallets alone, 1 million accounts alone hold anywhere between 2,486 to 8,757. That just goes to show you how much adoption and how many more investors are going to be tapping into XRP over the coming months and years. But I bring all of this up because I want to talk about XRP's price action. I want to talk about what we can expect this year for XRP. We've talked about price predictions in the past, right? I've said, I'm looking really at $7 to $10, being conservative, by the way. Majorly bullish, we're talking about anywhere between $15 to $20, and then extreme bullish, we're talking about like $20 to $30. Okay? We've talked about that in the past. But today, we have a little bit of a different story ongoing. Let's actually start off with legislation. Big shout out to Subjective Views. On the 30 posted this, Genius Act is heading to the president's desk next week, followed by the Clarity Act heading to the Senate. We have from David Sachs, congratulations to President Trump, the House and the Senate leadership, and the White House staff for passing one big beautiful bill. Historic victories on border security, tax cuts, welfare reform, deregulation. Next up, Crypto Week in the House, July 14th. Genius Act stablecoins is heading to the president's desk. He's going to sign it. He already said that he wants to sign it as soon as possible. Clarity Act, market structure, is heading to the Senate. Amazing progress in 6 months with more victories to come. So legislation around crypto is heating up in a big way. At the same exact time that the market around crypto is it's crazy, because I look at the sentiment, I look at how retail is looking at crypto, and it's almost depressing. And it's very clear by looking at the short, the largest short positions on Ethereum right now hitting historical levels. I said that the short squeeze will be historical and it will lead to altcoins going absolutely parabolic. Yes, XRP included. Speculators have built one of the largest short Ethereum ETH futures positions in history. It's crazy to me that this is how peak bearish the retail sector actually is. This will only lead into one thing. And we already witnessed that with RTY. This was the most shorted, and it went absolutely parabolic off of the lows. And what's crazy to me is that people are still very bearish on Ethereum. They're still very bearish on crypto itself. So think about this right now, okay? Adoption around crypto is still, we still have so much more work to do around adoption, around just investors alone jumping into crypto. At the same exact time that the US is about to pass historical legislation, while ETH short positions are at historical, this is levels, the largest levels in history. In history of Ethereum, the largest short positions. Now, as we think about this, XRP. I just saw somebody post this chart, which was the 2-day Bollinger Band squeeze. Big move likely to come soon. All right, we witnessed this before as well. Everyone wrote it off because we've been hearing about these charts forever. Let's just be honest here. Everyone has been talking about the squeeze on XRP is going to be crazy. The next move on XRP is going to be crazy. And this definitely causes a lot of people to really kind of think about the boy who cried wolf, right? Like we hear it almost every single day, yet nothing happens. We saw this back in November too, right? It squeezed. We were right against the top Bollinger Band, and then we broke out of it. We don't get excited until we actually break out. I'm just going to tell you that right now. We don't get excited until we break out. When we break out and we start to see that big move to the upside, that's when everyone will get excited. Right now, XRP dominance looks like this. We're squeezing in this nice little flag. We're in this downtrend. We're starting to form a floor. This will break out again. I have two levels on this chart, 6% to 8%, and then almost 11% to about 14.3%. And yes, I do think that these levels will be tapped again on XRP. The adoption around XRP, the moves happening around XRP right now is just crazy. This is also why I do think that analysts like Credible Crypto, for example, are calling for crazy prices. He really kind of quoted this March post again, and he gave us another insight on this in terms of dominance. Now, here we have the first post from March 6th, which he said, big picture, XRP. Now, again, he's more into Elliott wave theory, which is exactly why we have these waves. First off, wave 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 5. He actually believes right now, in terms of where we are at on Bitcoin, Bitcoin's about to lead into a wave 5. XRP is still technically in the wave 2 into wave 3 area. I think that we're more into like the wave 3 area right now. We could very well be starting that wave 3 zone. But he expects us to hit $28 to $32 on XRP. The initial view here is $28. Now, I'm not going to say this to throw Credible Crypto under the bus or anything like that, but he was calling for a $20 to $30 XRP back in 2020 into 2021. Now, again, what was the biggest problem back in 2020 into 2021? The XRP lawsuit. The SEC case held storm clouds over XRP for years, up until now. I like the fact that he hasn't switched up his thesis, because I still think that this is possible today. I thought it was possible back in 2021. I still think it's possible today, but even more now today than ever before. And the reason why is because that SEC case is coming to a close. Adoption around crypto is skyrocketing. Legislation is about to get passed in the US. This could wake up XRP in one of the largest ways possible. And if we're thinking about Bitcoin going to $150 to almost $200,000, yeah, this is extremely possible for altcoins to go absolutely insane, especially at a time where, like I said, Ethereum short positions are at historical levels, the largest levels in history, which typically leads to a short squeeze. That could be phase 2. I just talked about this in last night's video. This could lead to a short squeeze. This could lead to alt season as well. And then he said, aside from being one of the only coins in this entire market with the clearest and cleanest impulsive PA aside from Bitcoin, starting at its launch off of 50 cents, XRP is currently going on its 8th month of consolidation above the prior all-time high monthly close. You are not bullish enough. And yeah, this is what the XRP chart looks like on the USD pair. We have 8 months of price action on the monthly chart, the macro chart, above the previous all-time high levels. This is extremely bullish. This is why XRP right now is one of the most bullish cryptocurrencies in the space. The XRP Bitcoin pair looks like this, very similar to the XRP dominance chart. We have 2 levels here. And if we see these levels tagged from our current level that we're trading at, we're talking about 84 to almost 150%, 284 to almost, 450%. This is against Bitcoin. The USD chart would be multiplied by those levels. And the USD chart itself on the weekly looks like this. We are consolidating. We have been consolidating in terms of the weekly chart for 112 days. We are very close to breaking out. I don't think that we have a very long time to wait either from here, because we have been consolidating for so long. Even just going off of this post, XRP has been consolidating for 8 months above the prior all-time high monthly close. So when we finally start to break out, all this time that we're getting very impatient, getting frustrated, all this time, you're going to see how bullish this breakout actually will be. I'm very excited to see this happen. Like I said, I think that we're getting close with all of the short positions around Ethereum inflows. I just talked about it in last night's video. If you really want to get an insight on why we should be very bullish on altcoins right now, go check out that video. But XRP, I do agree with Credible Crypto here. It is one of the clearest and one of the cleanest charts right now in this game. Even on the weekly, I mean, this chart looks so beautiful on the weekly. While we're just consolidating, we still have a higher low here. I talked about this. We have a higher low going off of this previous low here. We're just waiting for higher highs. The second that we get a higher high on this chart, there's no more waiting around. We're going into that wave, the next wave on XRP. And I do believe that it's going to be extremely bullish. So with that being said, I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys definitely leave a like, subscribe, turn notifications on because more free content. You guys are more than welcome to follow me on Twitter and join the free Discord in the description below. And with that being said, guys, Nick, thanks for watching. Peace out.